Hello everyone, I'm Carthu, and today is the next part of a series where I assign 6 Pokemon to fictional characters based on their personalities and similarities to said Pokemon. I have 2 basic rules I follow for these until I don't. 1. Main characters, meaning a Goku or a Vegeta, not a Krillin or a Yamcha, must use at least one of the 24 known starter Pokemon, or at least one of the 42 known evolutions to said starter Pokemon. And 2, there must be at least one legendary / mythical / ultra beast on every team. But that rule is a little bit more flexible, and it all depends on if it fits in. I don't want to force the teams too much. With that being said, let's get started talking about the ninja of 100 healings, Sakura's Pokemon team. So, Meganium is the obvious choice for Sakura. The grass type is perhaps the most associated with healing, and thus makes perfect sense. Aesthetically, Meganium's neck has a pink flower around it, working perfectly with not only the pink of Sakura's design, but also with Sakura's name, a Sakura being a pink flower. We also have this Pokédex entry for Meganium that says Meganium's breath has the power to revive dead grass and plants. It can make them healthy again, which just further connects the healing ability of Meganium to Sakura. With that said, let's move on to the moves. A reminder for those of you who saw the last few parts of this series, or an introduction for those who haven't, these moves are to reflect the abilities of the fictional character we're discussing, so in no way is this a competitive moveset. For starters, we're going to use Synthesis to cover general healing, and Ingrain to cover the constant regenerative ability of the 100 healings technique. Finally, Counter and Strength just to cover Sakura's physical capabilities. Unfortunately, Sakura is the one with the limited move pool this time around. Medicham is our best choice for a fighting-type Pokemon, a representation of Sakura after her training with Tsunade. This is obviously due to the brute strength gained through the medical ninja chakra control that Sakura learned, but also because of Medicham's lore. Like this Pokédex entry, which says, "It is said that through meditation, Medicham heightens its energy inside its body and sharpens its 6th sense. This Pokemon hides its presence by merging itself with fields and mountains." This is important, since it represents the most important thing Sakura learned from Tsunade, the strength of 100 seal. Through extreme chakra focus, the user creates a seal on their forehead that can be released for extreme regeneration and strength. That said though, onto the moves. First, Meditate for the chakra focus reasons mentioned previously. Second is going to be Recover for the healing factor. Third is Drain Punch for a nice combination of physical prowess and healing. And finally, Dynamic Punch to represent that massively important punch that Sakura used in the defeat of Kaguya. I feel as though Audino is an extremely obvious choice. While Chansey is another good choice for the Pokemon that represents healing, I've always felt that Audino better represented healing, while Chansey better represented motherhood or nurturing. If we were discussing Sakura in Boruto, maybe that'd be the better way to go, but since I'm not, I prefer Audino in this case. All of Audino's Pokédex entries mention its ability to tell the condition of others by listening to them with its feelers. But that stethoscope thing isn't that important, as it only furthers the medical profession connection that we've already established just from seeing Audino in its basic anime appearances. With that, we'll go on to the moveset. First, let's use Refresh and Heal Bell, since those are status condition removing moves, and Sakura has been known to cure even poisons. Next is Heal Pulse as a move that can heal others, a very rare thing in Pokemon. Finally, Healing Wish as the big healing move. Keeping with our running theme of Pokemon involving pink in some way, we have Beware. To start with the typing, Normal and Fighting very much fit Sakura, who does feel very normal compared to these ninja with ridiculous elemental powers, and uses her immense physical strength to maintain her main method of attack. I usually don't use Pokemon's in-game stats to determine these choices, but holy crap, look at that attack stat. Let's not harp on that too much and move on to the Pokedex entry for Beware, which says, "This immensely dangerous Pokemon possesses overwhelming physical strength. Its habitat is generally off limits." Obviously, we already covered the immense strength with the attack stat, but it's good to double down on it. Also, Beware has the physical appearance of something far less imposing than it actually is, much like Sakura herself. Onto the moves then, let's show off Sakura's brute strength with Hammer Arm and Superpower. Earthquake can represent Sakura's groundbreaking punch, and finally, Drain Punch for a tie-in to healing in some way while keeping the physical attacking focus. Now, Gudra should be obviously connected to Sakura's slug summoning, Katsuyu. Now, like I always do with animal companions, I like to compare them to the animal in question, not the trainer we're discussing, but weirdly enough, the Pokedex entries for Gudra fit Sakura far more than Katsuyu. With that said, let's get into them. It attacks with retractable horns. It throws a punch that's equivalent to the force of 100 pro boxers. And an amazingly friendly Pokemon, but if left to itself, loneliness overcomes it and it oozes gooey tears. Once again, the first entry gives us a connection to Sakura's immense strength, but the second actually takes us to her emotional fragility, the tears she cried and the loneliness she felt when Sasuke left the village. Also, despite Gudra being more purple than pink, at least its stomach is pink in its shiny form, so we have somewhat of the pink theme still going. With that tackled though, let's move on to the moveset. First, Earthquake to cover the ground-shattering punch as mentioned earlier. Next, Focus Punch and Strength to cover raw physical power output. And finally, Toxic to represent Katsuyu's acid-based attacks. Shaman shouldn't be surprising at all to you guys, considering Shaman is pretty much the mythical version of Meganium. Everything from the grass type to the pink flower are just as good of reasons for Shaman to be on the team as they were for Meganium to be. Add in the fact that Shaman's Pokedex entry says it can dissolve toxins in the air to instantly transform ruined land into lush fields of flowers, which can be equated to Sakura's ability to take poisons out of bodies of others. Really though, it doesn't get much more complex than that. It really is just the mythical version of Meganium, even its Pokedex entry is very, very similar. As for the moves though, we'll have Healing Wish and Synthesis to cover the basic healing components, Aromatherapy for the status condition and poison healing, and Giga Impact for that hard-hitting physical attack. And with that, we have Sakura's Pokemon team. Next time. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button if you liked the video, leave a comment down below for your suggestions for this series, and hit subscribe so you're up to date whenever this series comes out. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on this channel, so make sure you drop by for one of those, and the next episode of this series will be out next Sunday.